There is a first aid booth. Amira, do you know where the first aid is?
So if you need basic first aid discomfiners, we will have a paramedic also.
Nepal, welcome to the 9th World Ranger Congress, and Nepal feels proud to be the first Asian country to be hosting this prestigious event for rangers across the world. A big round of applause for all of you. Please feel free to Surendra Pandey, Member of Parliament, Chitwan. Honorable Krishna Prasad Oli, Member of Planning Commission. Mr. Sean Wilmore, President, International Ranger Federation. Our special guest, Ms. Renu Dahal, Mayor, Bharatpur Metropolitan, Chitwan. Another special guest, Mr. Narayan Ban, Mayor, Ratnanagar Municipality. Mr. Madhukar Malla, Chairperson, Buffer Zone Management Committee, Chitwan National Park. Present with us, we have various other high-level officials, distinguished participants, fellow rangers, friends from media, and ladies and gentlemen. Thank you once again for being a part of this prestigious event being held for the very first time in Asia. And it gives me immense pleasure to tell you all that Nepal is the first Asian country to host the World Ranger Congress. Nepal was selected due to its excellence in anti-poaching and conservation efforts, including achieving zero poaching of rhinos on 5 different occasions. The main objective of this Congress is a declaration which sets out the aims and visions for the Global Ranger Agenda for the next 3 years. The goals of the 9th World Ranger Congress are to address key issues facing rangers, including ranger welfare, capacity building, collaboration with communities, employment of indigenous rangers, gender balance in the ranger workforce, and use of technology. Emphasizing the need of professionalization of rangers is another main goal of this Congress. Providing a forum for rangers to learn new solutions and tools for dealing with common problems faced in protected areas is another key goal of the 9th World Ranger Congress. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Narayan Ban, the Mayor for Ratnanagar Municipality, for his welcome address.
Namaste, good morning. Chairperson of the opening ceremony, Chief Guest for former Prime Minister Pushpakal Dahal Prachanda, special guest Ministry of Forest and Environment, then the all special guest Parliament member, distinguished participants all over the world, media friends, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the Ratnanagar Municipality, I'm delighted to welcome you to the 9th World Ratanagar Congress, which is ever been hosted in Asia for the first time. Hosting the 9th World Ranger Congress is a great honor for Nepal and brave men and women who patrol our parks. We would never have achieved zero poaching without their daily heroism. It is a great opportunity for us to connect with each other and renew our passion for the shared work we undertake in protecting our natural and cultural heritage around the world. We are very much delightful for welcoming the world's rangers from different countries around the globe here and share challenges and opportunity and build solidarity between ranger and ranger associations from around the world. Many of you have had to make sacrifice and have worked hard to bring together the support to get here. And on behalf of the Ratanagar municipality, I welcome you wholeheartedly. Talking about the Ranger, they are true heroes of the planet. That's why we should provide them with all the support they need to protect the world's wildlife and wildplace. Rangers are a special class of people, highly dedicated, passionate, and determined. Although we call them with a different name like Forest Guard, Warden, Eco Guard, does not matter. They are a part of one very extraordinary family with the full decision in protecting the world's most special places and its natural and cultural heritage. I do believe that this World Ranger Congress will set a milestone not only to share knowledge, create partnership and build capacity through exchange of ideas, technique and best conservation participate, but it will also help for cross-cultural exchange as well. As we are on the doorstep of Visit Nepal 2020, I would like to invite you to explore our country on the occasion of spread the invitation to our family, friend, community, and nation. As Nepal is the country of Mount Everest, birthplace of Lord Buddha, and many more significant scenic beauties that our exploration and stay in Nepal would be worldly. Lastly, I have been fortunate enough to experience INSPIRE program. My sincere thanks to the World Ranger Congress organizing group and all associated with making the 9th World Ranger Congress a reality. And a huge thanks for you. Once again, warmly welcome to all international participants. Please enjoy with Nepal, food, cultures, and enjoy with nature too. Thank you very much. Again, namaste.
Thank you so much, Mr. Bond, for your welcome address. Definitely, while Nepal is looking forward to the Visit Nepal year 2020, it gives us immense pleasure to welcome you all rangers from across the globe to see and witness our beautiful country, Nepal. Now, dear guests and participants, I would like to request our chief guest, Honorable Pushpakamal Dahal Prachanda, former Prime Minister of Nepal, to officially inaugurate the 9th World Ranger Congress by watering the plant. Can we please have a big round of applause while our chief guest inaugurates the 9th
Minister of Nepal, special guest, Minister of Forest and Environment, Parliament members, Honorable National Planning Commission member and Mayor of Bharatpur Metropolitan City, Mayor of Ratanagar, and all the fellow rangers and all participants, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen and media friends. Let me share some of the outcomes, the major outcomes, achievements made by the Nepal together with the ranger. As you know, Nepal is a mountainous country. In the lowland, from 60 meters to the highest peak of the world, Sagarmatha, Mountain Everest, you can see the various type of flora and fauna. This is our natural and cultural heritage. We have very good protected area system. Chitwan is the oldest national park of Nepal, which is also enlisted in the World Heritage Site. And at this moment, we have 12 national parks, 1 wildlife reserves, 1 hunting reserves, and 6 protected areas. And as we reach in the biodiversity resources, we have a very good networking system together with local communities where the ranger works. Tiger, one of the apex and climax species of the terrestrial ecosystem. Nepal is one of the country which is nearly, we are going to double the tiger number as we targeted in 2010 and make the tiger number double in 2022. Similarly, another iconic species, rhino, around 645 individuals survives here in Nepal, and we are maintaining around 1 decade since 2011. It's almost the zero poaching, which is one of the key achievements of the government of Nepal, together with the local communities and our rangers. The government of Nepal is also succeeded to maintain around 45% of the forest area across the country, and we are maintaining community-based forest management, particularly community forestry program, which is very close to the people. People are working with the nature and fulfilling their local demands. And it's very successful achievement of Nepal. Similarly, we are the country managing the snow leopard conservation in the high mountainous as the apex species of the high mountain ecosystems, and we have the 5th largest population in the world. And we also develop climate smart management plan, considering the opportunity to enhance our economy, to uplift our employment income opportunities. And at the same time, we are maintaining our 45% of the forest area where we can see our opportunity and hope of life. In the meantime, we are maintaining very good linkage in terms of law enforcement, particularly this mechanism from political, policy, executive and implementation level, and in the ground with the local communities, community-based anti-poaching groups. We are maintaining very good system from people to prime minister networking we have, which is very much instrumental to law enforcement system of the Nepal. We have a very good networking with the South Asian countries, and we have a South Asia Wildlife Enforcement Network in order to combat the wildlife crimes. Despite the fact, we have some issues and some challenges as well. As you see, the linear infrastructures, sometimes they have fragmented of the habitat, and now we have a very big challenge. How do you balance between conservation and development? This is the area where the Ranger Congress can discuss and find the best way where we can go together with the development and conservation and support the prosperity of the country. Similarly, we have a very big problem of the wildlife trade, illegal trade, and how do you enforce the laws to combat the wildlife crime, and how do you coordinate among the law enforcement agencies is the big challenge. Similarly, another big challenge is how do you manage the human-wildlife conflicts. Especially, we have the very good relief policies, and we are increasing the amount of relief, and now we are focusing how fast we can deliver the relief amount to the local communities, that the real victims can get the benefits from the conservations. And now the principle is coexistence, living in harmony with nature. Similarly, the climate-induced disaster and ecosystem resilience and health of the ecosystem is really challenged. Now, this is the new area we have to discuss and maintain our ecosystems to save the species very healthy and hygienic and stop any endangered species extinction from this beautiful planet. May I request the technical committee to show the very short video about the outcome of the rangers in Nepal.
Nepal, and like you mentioned, this would not have been possible without our rangers. So can we please have a big round of applause for all the rangers working in the conservation areas of Nepal and for yourselves as well. Despite the continuous challenges at work, the amount of effort and the amount of dedication is always 110%. A big salute to all the rangers from Nepal and across the globe. Ladies and gentlemen, please be informed that the organizers of this event intend to take pictures and videos during the event. Your presence at the event venue is assumed as a consent that you have your pictures and videos taken that could be used publicly. Now moving forward, the next remarks is going to be by Mr. Madhukar Malla, the chairperson of Buffer Zone Management Committee for Chitwan National Park, one of the oldest national park of Nepal.
Namaste. Thank you, everybody, and thank you to the government of Nepal, to the people of Nepal, and to the local community in Chitwan for having us here. Can we just give them another round of applause, please? That's all right. My boy wants to come up on stage, so you can come up, Lenny. Come on. Come on, Lenny. We Rangers spend a lot of time away from our families, and I'm no exception. Spending a lot of time working with Rangers now in 80 countries. So I brought my little boy to this Congress to share the Ranger spirit, and I hope you appreciate and understand the need for him to be with me. I would firstly like to acknowledge the traditional owners, the Indigenous people of this area, the leaders past, the present and emerging as the tradition we do in Australia and bring it here to Nepal. So please thank the traditional owners. I would like all members of the organising committee to please stand up. I know Rohit is over here and Mataji. Can you please all stand up? Come forward on stage. Come forward on stage, the organising committee, please. The amount of hours that have gone into organising this world's largest Congress we've ever had has been immense. The logistics immense, and it still continues as our phones ping during the Congress. So with all of that, I'd like you to give a huge round of applause to the organising committees, both the local organising committee and the IRF organising committee. Could you either stand up or make your way to stage, please? Come on, girl. These guys will be working non-stop so that the Congress is smooth for all of you, and they've had many sleepless nights getting it all together. So once again, and the IEC as well, I'd like you to join them, please. All the IEC members, can you please stand up? The Executive Committee of the International Ranger Federation. And with that, I would like to thank also the board and the staff of the IRF's charity arm, the Thin Green Line Foundation, who through various processes have contributed nearly $300,000 towards this Congress to allow 80 other rangers from various countries to attend this Congress, as well as supporting the registration process and many other things. Could all the staff and board of Thin Green Line Foundation please stand up? They may be standing up already. That's Fionn, our General Manager. Thank you, Fionn. Before I go on, I want to acknowledge the themes of the Congress. Female Rangers, a really important theme for this Congress. And as I mentioned before, near 38% of the attendees are female Rangers, which is a great success considering in many parts of the world, about 99% are male rangers in some parts. So to our female rangers, I want to say a very warm welcome to you, and I know you'll feel the respect of all of the ranger family here, so welcome again. To our Indigenous Rangers, welcome as well. The greatest emerging employment of rangers around the world is employing Indigenous rangers and community members to work as rangers in their local areas. So a warm welcome to you, and we enjoy learning from you and sharing knowledge with you as well. So welcome to our Indigenous Rangers. We'll talk about ranger welfare and capacity, training, equipment, the basics. Many of you will know that we celebrate World Ranger Day on July 31st, and we release the Honour Roll each year. This year, 149 Rangers were listed as fallen in the line of duty. And that's been revised now to 158 with additional information. That's only partial data from some countries around the world. We suspect it might be higher. And I know we as Rangers did it earlier this morning in the Ranger ceremony, but with our key guests here, I would also like us to take a moment to reflect on those fallen Rangers that we've lost and those injured in the line of duty. So if we just have another moment's silence, please. I had got my flower necklace yesterday, Lenny. Thank you. Lastly, I mentioned just before, I do want to thank the families of Rangers. You put up with a lot. I know my friend John Mukombo, director in Uganda, a former Ranger on the front lines. He came home once after a year away. He came home after a year away, and his own child called him uncle, not father, not dad. Many Rangers suffer a lot of time removed from their families. It's not just the sacrifice of those fallen Rangers or injured Rangers, but the emotional sacrifices too. So I want to thank all of the families for supporting you as Rangers, and let's acknowledge them now, please. Without further ado, I would like to just say, have a great Congress. Make the most of it. Have those conversations that you never get a chance to have with Rangers from all over the world. Share your knowledge, share your frustrations. It's a good time to do that, because no better audience to understand what you're going through. And have a great time together and take that energy home, and let's do more for the International Ranger Federation and for the community of Rangers and for the world as a whole. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Wilmore, and Junior Wilmore as well, for your address. And definitely, I couldn't agree more with the President of International Ranger Federation. All you Rangers inspire local individuals like us to live in harmony with the nature and preserve what is bigger than life, that is nature. Definitely, without Mother Nature, human life is not at all possible. Whatever you are doing from your end of the world, every bit of effort, every bit of sacrifice that you're making will not go wasted. We are sure about that. Thank you once again. And now, moving forward, join me as I welcome Mr. Krishna Prasad Oli, Member of Planning Commission, for his address.
Namaste. Conservation scientists from different countries who are here, and ecosystem specialists, park rangers, many rangers, managers, ladies and gentlemen, and lastly, we call Khabar Palika, that is all the news people. So I am I have an immense pleasure to participate in this gathering of International Rangers Federation and World Rangers Congress. As we all know, it happens triannually. On behalf of National Planning Commission, Government of Nepal, I would like to welcome you, all of you, in the world-class, prestigious National Heritage Site of Mankind in Sauraha, but actually in the Chitwan National Park. As I have understood, this Congress has been hosted by World Ranger Congress, Federation, and Ministry of Forest and Environment, Government of Nepal. In 1998, I was also involved actually to host similar type, but not this type of big event in Sauraha here and in the core area of Chitwan National Park. It is really a very, very difficult task to bring all the people from their homeland to Kathmandu and transport all the way here. So I am really thankful to the organizers here. It is a very hard job. And to bring over 550 people is not a joke. It is really, really difficult. And I thank the President of the Congress here. Thank you. And as I know, the goal of this actually is sharing of knowledge, global knowledge on how the nature functions and works, how protected area management system operates, come with the common understanding of the issues facing these days and challenges, and how the technology which is evolving is being transferred from one country to another country, from one ranger to another ranger, and eventually trickling down to the community level. Rangers, as the President has also mentioned, always risk their lives by wildlife, poachers. They are bold people to walk on the double-edged sword and the blade, always. Thus, your contribution to biodiversity conservation and knowledge generation on this area of research is phenomenal. And another important area that you have been working actually is to develop the local level institutional mechanism for the conservation and development. So institution building and make and come up with common understanding for the problems that comes to the solution. The relationship with local communities, indigenous people, and others is one of the vital areas. Wherever I visited, I recently came from Masai Mara, day before, yesterday only. So everywhere we go in the protected area management system, indigenous and local community and institutional mechanism at the local level is very, very important. Let me give some of the example and initiative taken by the rangers and foresters of Government of Nepal. Dr. Dhakal has also already mentioned, Nepal in the past decade has become a laboratory and a factory of generating knowledge. If you see top conservationists in the world, many of them actually has come here, earned their degrees, PhDs, and they are in the high level. Conservation leaders are also. So therefore, our country is small, but this is a laboratory for generating new ideas, institutional mechanism, and practical solution, another, to degradation and declining biological resources. Actually, in Nepal, World Bank stated us that if we don't do anything in 1978, that this country will be converted into a complete desert. That was the forecast of the World Bank. But with the cooperation and with the hard work of the rangers, the conservationists, we actually managed to reverse the phenomena in this country. And the result is, you see, over 24,000 community forestry user groups who are working at the local level. Similarly, in the 90s, late 90s, in order to actually manage the protected area that systems, we brought the buffer zone concept and buffer zone area regulation and management. So these are some of the evolving policy that the government has taken, but learning was from the rangers, and these are the things. So today, if you see 24,000 community forestry user groups are managing this country's 1/3 of the forest areas. And similarly, we have leasehold forestry, new innovation, new innovative idea, which has established the green capital of the country, about 45% of the green capital. We have managed to establish this, which is the forest area now. Rangers, conservationists, and conservation NGOs have contributed significantly in this area. And if you see, I am sure you will stay for a few days here, the mingling of culture and nature, you can really see here. In the night time, you go to the cultural place, and people really love that. And they are actually interacting with nature. So these are some of the development towards the policy improvement by the government of Nepal. And your actually contribution, the rangers and the managers and the conservationists' contribution, is not only limited here. I am not quite sure whether you are or not. You are part of the implementation of Convention on Biological Diversity. You are part of the implementation of the Convention of Trade of Endangered Species, that is called CITES, Desertification Convention, Ramsar Convention, and Dr. Dhakal has mentioned earlier the UNESCO heritage site. This is one of the natural heritage sites of UNESCO. And lastly, which is very, very important and burning issue, is United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change and its Paris Agreement. So this is in all of our shoulder now. How should we move? And we have this Cartagena Protocol on biosafety and Nagoya Protocol on access and benefit sharing mechanism, and to UNFCCC Kyoto Protocol, which also actually falls on your domain, actually how to implement those. So, and there are many things which are emerging now. The new, how should we move ahead? I think one of the major agenda is this. So one of the biggest challenge of 21st century here is the impact of climate change. Impact of climate change. I will give you some example of the recent study which is carried out by the Mountain Related Institute here in Nepal. If 1.5 degrees Celsius temperature rise before the industrial revolution or industrial process, even Homo sapien initiated, if it continues that, 30% of the Himalaya will be gone. But if it increases and reaches to 2 degrees Celsius, then almost 60% of the Himalaya will be gone. So the catastrophic event and the ripple effect of this to the downstream will be coming very, very pervasively. So we have to think how we will be able to address this issue. How do we decarbonize our consumption pattern and food pattern or livelihood pattern? So this is one of the major challenges of 21st century that all the ranger has to keep this in mind. Similarly, we have embarked on meeting SDG goal by 2030, all the countries in the world, actually. So, combating routine problems of poachers and human wildlife conflict. This has been also shown. This is a continuous process and it will go again in future also. These are ongoing challenges. The bigger challenges now of the global commons, outside the national jurisdiction. This is within the national jurisdiction, countries can do and develop policies and implement, but it crosses transboundary or beyond, these are global, outside the national jurisdiction. The high seas, again, ocean protected areas. The atmosphere, I have mentioned about the climate change. The cryosphere, which all these things are melting down. And forest and hydrosphere. So achieving sustainable development goal by 2030 requires that we reduce the pressure on biological resources within the national jurisdiction and beyond. Presently, economic development is leading to an even larger environmental footprint. This trend must be reversed if we are to secure human well-being and support sustainable economic and business models. And subjecting the biological resources to mass extinction of species, this is anti-forestation, land degradation, and unmanageable amount of waste dumped and emitted. This is one of the other challenges, as we have seen, like the size of a Texas province or country in United States, the Pacific Ocean is getting the island of plastics. This is dumped plastic which are generated here. Now, and impacting on marine life, waste generated by our activities, including hazardous chemicals, plastics, and electronic waste products now. This is another challenge, have reached levels beyond the Earth system and the Earth system of absorbing capacity. So all the rangers, the managers, the conservationists need to be aware of that, and we should think about this. And this requires urgent needs to decarbonize human activity. How do we go for that? This is one of the major challenges. How resources are efficiently used, distributed, and waste is managed. This is the 21st century, another problem. And loss of biodiversity. You may be aware, a recent publication of 2019 report of International Science and Policy Platform on Biodiversity and Ecosystem Services warns that an average amount of around 25% of the species in assessed animal and plant groups are threatened, suggesting that 1 million species already face extinction. Many within decades, unless action is taken to reduce this, the intensity of drivers of biodiversity loss will enhance. So this is one of the serious issues that we have to face. Without such action, acceleration of species loss will be the foregone conclusion. So we must be aware of that. Already we have seen, we only talk about larger animals, larger species. But if you see the pollinator species, like many insects have gone to extinction now. So already many pollination species has declined. And the consequences of this, threatened by, this is by chemical use, excessive chemical use. You see, 4 companies in the whole globe actually control whole of the pesticide business of the world, almost 50% of them. So agriculture expansion, putting the production of 75% of our food crops at risk. So pollination species, pollinator species, if they go, then we are in risk, and 75, it has been estimated, 75% of our food crop at the risk. Globally, local varieties, again, we discussed yesterday when we were coming, local varieties and breeds of domesticated plants and animals are disappearing now. Hybrid culture, hybrid food, everything hybrid. So that is one thing. The loss of biodiversity, including genetic diversity, ecosystem diversity, this is happening, poses serious risk in food security. This is major agenda. We are thinking here, the rangers and the conservationists are only involved in forest conservation. No, the consequence is that. So therefore, the loss of biodiversity means most of the IG biodiversity target, which we are supposed to achieve in 2020, it may be unfulfilling agenda. So we must realize that certainty and uncertainty are 2 aspects of nature. Certainty and uncertainty. If things are uncertain, there will be new innovation. So we have to think that way. Evolution moves forward by surprising events. So our attitude is to realize that the unknown is just another term of creation, and uncertainty can be resisted and evolved. And I am very happy, and please, just to say one analogy, it is a very hard job. In Hindu religion, we respect Lord Shiva. Many of you have known. If you see the family of Lord Shiva, his vehicle is a bull, his wife Parvati's vehicle is a tiger, and his son Ganesh, his vehicle is a rat, and you see his another son's vehicle is a peacock. And in addition to that, what the Lord Shiva does is he actually has a type of deadliest king cobra. So that family is working.
Mark and highlighting the threats to the nature being caused by human activities. And also, I would like to take this opportunity to thank the Ministry of Forest and Environment, Government of Nepal, for playing such a key role in organizing this Congress here in Nepal. Let me draw your attention that for this Congress, we have over 550 participants from across the globe, from over 70 countries here present at Sauraha. So a big round of applause to the organizing committee for being such great organizers and having the patience and perseverance to make this event happen. And if you would want to share your pictures, your stories from your experience here at the 9th World Ranger Congress in Nepal on your social media, that is Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram, please remember to use the hashtag WRC2019 Nepal. Let's show the world what this 5 days is going to mean for the nature in the world. And now, moving forward, please join me as I welcome Honorable Mr. Surendra Pandey, Member of Parliament Chitwan, for his address.
Thank you very much. Chairman of this conference, Chief guest, former Prime Minister and Chairperson of Nepal Communist Party, Pushpakamal Dahal Prachandaju, Minister for Forest and Environment, Honorable Shakti Vasnet, Chairperson of the Parliamentary Committee, Purna Kumari Shubedi, Member of Parliaments, Member of National Planning Commission, Secretary from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Forestry and Environment, Mayor of Bharatpur Metropolitan City, Mayor of this beautiful city, beautiful municipality, Ratnanagar, and the participants from more than 70 countries, more than 550 delegates. I welcome all of you in Nepal. Especially, I belong to this constituency. I am representing this constituency in the parliament. So I am welcoming you here in my constituency. I hope you will enjoy your stay in Nepal and especially the Sauraha. And coming days will be very fruitful from this conference. And I also want to thank to Ministry of Forestry and Environment hosting this very important program in Nepal. I heard that this is the first Congress organizing in Asia. So for organizing this very important conference in Nepal, just before the visit 2020, I thank to the Ministry of Forestry and Environment taking this initiative to organizing this whole conference in Nepal. Thank you very much to Ministry. I thank to the Ministry for this initiative. Saura and Chiton National Park is the oldest national park in Nepal. We have one horned rhino. We have right now 650 rhino in Nepal. Out of 650, 605 in Chitwan, only in Chitwan. That's why rhino's home is the Chitwan National Park. You can see the rhino whenever you have the time to see in the forest. Similarly, we have Bengal tiger, another species, 235 Bengal tigers. Out of that, we have 98 in Chitwan, only in Chitwan. And we have elephant breeding center in Chitwan. We have vulture breeding center in Chitwan. We have gharial breeding center in Chitwan, and so many species. We have. So, please enjoy your stay in Nepal, and I hope you will declare, you will from here, protecting the wild species, and you will say something to the world what we are going to do in the coming days. I hope from Nepal you will address, you will declare anything. And I'm remembering when I was Minister for Finance, we were at that time organizing the cabinet meeting at the base camp of the Mount Everest. And we are giving the message to the world. Look, the mountains are melting, and it is creating the disaster to Nepal, not only Nepal, to the world. So now you are in the low part of Nepal, in Saura, and you are organizing this very important conference and calling to the people of the world. Look, the wild animals and our biodiversity is deteriorating day by day, and how we can conserve it, and that is your responsibility. You are doing very good job. I thank to all the rangers who are doing your job in your own countries, in your own areas, and I also thank to the organizer again, and this conference will be very successful, and it will draw many policies and other things, and it will be certainly beneficial to all of us, to the world mankind, and all these creatures which are in this beautiful planet. Thank you.
Mr. Pandey. And now, let me invite Honorable Shakti Bahadur Baset, Minister of Forest and Environment, Government of Nepal, for his address. Sir, please.
Good morning, everybody. Mr. Chairperson, Chief Guest, former Prime Minister, Honorable Pushpakamal Dahal Prachanda, Honorable Members of Parliament, Honorable Member of National Planning Commission, Mayor of Bharatpur Metropolitan City, Mayor of Ratnagar Municipality, President of International Ranger Federation, Chair of Buffer Zone Council, distinguished participants, friends from media, ladies and gentlemen. At the outset, on behalf of the Government of Nepal, allow me to extend you all a very warm welcome at this 9th World Ranger Congress. I am extremely honored and privileged of hosting the Congress here in Sauraha, one of the tourist hub and UNESCO Natural Heritage Site of Nepal. I would like to thank all of you for accepting our invitation to be a part of this Congress. I'm glad to know that the Congress is an event which is organized every 3 years that brings together ranger and conservationists from around the world. It provides an opportunity to interact with each other and create enabling environment for forging partnerships among the rangers. I'm pleased to inform you that Nepal has showcased a successful example of biodiversity conservation. With around 45% of total land area covered by forests and more than 23% of total land area of the country under protected area system. Around 30,000 community-based forest user groups are actively engaged in managing 1/3 of total forest area in Nepal. We are successfully increasing the number of key wild animals such as rhino and tiger. Nepal is the first country to have nearly doubled its tiger numbers as part of the global tiger doubling goal. We are the first country to implement CATS, where Chitwan is the first national park to achieve CATS accreditations. Nepal has maintained zero poaching of rhinos on 5 consecutive years. For all the successes we have achieved so far, I appreciate the tireless efforts of rangers and conservationists, local communities, security personnel, conservation partners, and all concerned stakeholders. Despite all the achievements, we have been facing challenges in biodiversity conservation. Human-wildlife conflict is becoming a serious challenge in wildlife management in Nepal, for which we need to think seriously. Wildlife crime is another challenge to save the endangered species from extinction. Application of latest and available technology in protected area management is also a demanding task these days. Capacity development of officials and stakeholders working in park and forest management is also crucial. While we have been able to demonstrate conservation successes, sustaining them in the face of growing environmental degradation, including climate change, remains a huge challenge. There are policy and institutional measures in place to deal with park and forest management in Nepal. We have National Forest Policy, National Parks and Wildlife Conservation Act and its regulations, Forest Act and regulations, CITES Act. The ministry has 5 departments where a good number of staff are contributing towards park and forest management. We have established National Tiger Conservation Committee, National Wildlife Crime Control Coordination Committee and its bureau and units. Nepal is also hosting Secretariat of South Asia Wildlife Enforcement Network. I want to take this opportunity to salute rangers and conservationists for their bravery and commitment in biodiversity conservation. They are real heroes who are at the front line, taking risk their lives in preserving precious gift of nature for present and future generations. In this front, I really appreciate your sacrifice and professionalism for safeguarding our nature. I believe you will share and learn from each other. Discuss vibrantly in technical sessions in finding out solutions to challenges that we are facing globally in biodiversity conservation. I urge all participants to engage actively in technical sessions for the coming 5 days. Let's join the hands, build and expand our networking, strengthen our capacity, inspire our future generation for protection of Mother Earth. Lastly, I consider myself extremely lucky to have been a part of the Congress with participants from across more than 70 countries. I wish a grand success of the Congress and wish all participants a pleasant stay here in Soura. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir. Definitely, your ministry has played a key role in the planning and execution of this Congress. Thank you once again. Now I would like to briefly speak about Rally for Rangers, a Mongolian NGO which has been conducting rallies and been donating almost 100 motorbikes to park rangers across Mongolia and Argentina. And this year, Rally for Rangers is donating motorbikes to protected areas of Nepal through WWF Nepal. To hand over the papers and the keys, may I please call upon the founder of Mongol Ecology Center, Ms. Bakhtu, and the co-founder of Rally for Rangers, Mr. Medema. And to the seat, may I please call upon stage the country representative for WWF Nepal, Dr. Ghanasham Guru. Rally for Rangers look forward to continuing to donate more motorcycles to the protected areas like yours. Thank you so much, Rally for Rangers, for this amazing task that you are doing, for the service that you've been providing, and for donating motorcycles to the protected areas of Nepal through WWF Nepal. And now WWF Nepal will be handing over the motorcycles to the Director General of Department of National Parks and Wildlife Conservation, Mr. Gopal Prakash. Mr. Gopal Prakash, can we please have you on the stage as well? Dr. Ghanasham Guru, country representative of WWF Nepal. We hope that these motorbikes will be contributing in protection of our natural protected areas of Nepal. Thank you so much once again, Rally for Rangers. Thank you so much, WWF Nepal. Thank you so much. Kindly take your seats.
Namaste and good morning to everybody. Chairperson of this inaugural session of 9th World Ranger Congress, special guest, Honorable Minister of Forest and Environment, Mr. Shakti Bahadur Basnet, Chairman of the Parliamentary Committee, Honorable Member of the Parliament, Honorable Member of the Provincial Council, all the representatives of the local bodies, participants, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, it gives me great pleasure to be here with you at this very unique and historic gathering. Please allow me to extend my warm welcome to all of you here in Nepal, and this one of the most important tourist destination of Nepal, the Sauraha. I express my sincere thanks to the International Ranger Federation for choosing Nepal to organize this event, and the Ministry of Forest and Environment for hosting this event and inviting me as the chief guest to address this auspicious gathering. Distinguished participants, I am delighted to inform this imminent gathering that Nepal has a very historic and tremendous political changes and created an atmosphere of political stability. I think that you may have well informed about the very unique and homegrown peace process and Constituent Assembly and the declaration of the Federal Democratic Republic. All these tremendous political changes has created a very conducive and favorable atmosphere for the political stability, economic development and prosperity of this country. One of the preconditions for attaining prosperity and happiness is people live in harmony with nature. Nature is our life and lifeline. We cannot live without nature, therefore we do not have a choice. We must save nature to save ourselves and to create an atmosphere for our future generation. Nepal has a long history of forest and biodiversity conservation. Community forestry program and protected areas management system in Nepal are few successful examples in nature conservation that we can showcase to the international communities. We have established protected areas covering nearly 24% of its total land mass. Over 1/3 of our population is engaged in the management environment for hosting the event. Sustainable utilization of forest resources through community forestry. We are making concerted efforts on conservation of the biological diversity to a large extent contributed to conserve biodiversity by directly involving local communities. By developing national policies and strategies and through various institutional arrangements to act jointly at the global, regional and national level. We have enhanced our conservation initiative by strengthening cooperation with neighboring countries and forming South Asia Wildlife Enforcement Network for a coordinated regional response to combat illegal wildlife poaching and trafficking. Despite this fact, forest and biodiversity conservation has been facing a number of threats and challenges these days. As population grow around the globe, physical infrastructure and rapid economic development has been taking place, leading to putting pressure on forest and biological resources. While development is a pressing need, striking a balance between conservation and development is challenging. Increasing trend of human-wildlife conflict is another challenge, posing a serious threat to coexistence between people and nature. This is the stark reality on the ground which needs serious consideration at national, regional and global level. Environmental crime, particularly poaching and the illegal trade of wildlife and forest products, is expanding at transnational level and posing a challenge to law enforcement authorities. The adverse effects of climate change, particularly climate-induced disaster, has devastating effects to all species, ecosystem and biodiversity at large. May it be in the Himalayas or in the Africa or South America, negative impact of climate change has been increasingly realized, which has severe implications on ecological resilience and community livelihoods. To address the challenge that we are facing in forest and biodiversity conservation, I request you all participants, rangers, experts, managers, researchers and policy makers to share your noble experience, best practices and resources outcomes and contribute to our mission of nature. Conservation, no matter which nationality you are, where you work and what position you hold, we need to invest on developing the capacity of our frontline staff members and indigenous and local communities in resource conservation and getting fair and equitable benefit from the use of biological resources on which their livelihood depends. In doing so, we need adequate financial resources. I do hope that the Congress will provide a platform for rangers and conservationists to share their knowledge, create network and partnership, and build capacity through a cross-pollination of ideas, technique, and best practice of conservation initiatives that have been tested across the globe. I'd be most happy if you suggest us a way forward for future course of action for the days ahead. I also believe that it is high time for us to work collectively in saving Mother Earth for generations to come. Let's do not harm to nature, but use the nature wisely to that people can protect nature and nature protect people. Distinguished participants, the government of Nepal has announced Visit Nepal 2020, and therefore I ask you all to enjoy Nepali nature and culture and recommend your family and friends to visit Nepal in 2020 to experience a lifetime adventure. There are so many national parks and there are so many historic places, as all of you know, birthplace of Lord Buddha, Lumbini, and highest peak of the world, Sagarmatha, all lies in Nepal. Finally, I wish a grand success of this 9th World Ranger Congress. Thank you all for your kind attention. I wish a very pleasant, fruitful and joyful stay here in Nepal. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Dahal, our chief guest for today, for your insightful words and for your time and grace.
Honorable chairs of parliamentary committees, honorable member of National Planning Commission, mayors of Bharatpur Metropolitan City and Ratanagar Municipality, Deputy Chief of District Coordination Committee Chitwan, President of International Ranger Federation, Chair of Buffer Zone Management Council, distinguished participants, media persons, ladies and gentlemen. It is a matter of great pleasure and privilege for me to be here at this August gathering of conservationists and rangers. Allow me to extend my warm gratitude to all of you for joining this 9th World Ranger Congress. I also admire the efforts of the International Ranger Federation for selecting Nepal to host this historic event in Sauraha, Chitwan, and for bringing together conservationists from around the world in this congress. On behalf of organizers, allow me to extend my deep gratitude to Chief Guest, former Prime Minister Honorable Pushpakamal Dahal Prachanda, for gracing this august gathering of conservationists around the world despite his busy schedule. As you all know, Nepal is a land of cultural, biological, and environmental diversity. It has enormous potentials to see, feel, and to experience. It also offers a unique example where people live in harmony with nature. Conservation and sustainable use of biodiversity of the planet is a global responsibility. In response to these national needs and international commitments that Government of Nepal has made through different multilateral environmental agreements, we are playing our role to support global efforts toward forest and biodiversity conservation and ecosystem management. Policy formulation, institutional strengthening, program development and implementation are some actions that we are focusing to address conservation issues. Nepal has given major drive for the protection and conservation of nature, on which our chief guest of this inaugural ceremony and previous speakers have already highlighted. Increase in human population, unsustainable consumption and use pattern, deforestation, rapid urbanization and land use change have caused loss of biodiversity across the globe. the Intergovernmental Panel on Biodiversity and Ecosystem Services Global Biodiversity and Ecosystem Assessment Report has revealed that more than 1 million species are at risk of extinction as a result of carbon emissions. It has been highlighted also by our Honorable Member of National Planning Commission in this session. It means we humans are destroying our nature and we might be heading to tipping point. In such a context, the role of rangers and conservationists working in different corners of